Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wulff Den Live, episode 80, live from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
You're gonna have to bleep that because I was
Yeah.
actually part of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll just
cut it out for being here.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. We are actually live, coming to you from Sin City, from Paradise in the Desert, from all those other nicknames that they have for this town.
Hello, Atten, David, Zandman, Comboy, the Amazing Nut, Tiger Jake, AJ, Ashley. Hello. I can't think. Hello, Val Tough. Hello, everybody.
Anyone and everyone who is here.
So we got a couple things to talk about.
We do. First things first. Go to the Keep. Did it?
Maybe it didn't update.
Did it update?
I don't know. This thing's being weird. We got weird internet.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yeah. We could just drop out at any minute.
Yes. Let us know if there are any technical difficulties. We are doing this off of hotel Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Because I posted a picture in the Keep that I wanted to talk about, but it looks like it's not appearing.
Cool. What is it?
So one of my friends from back home texted me this picture at about 8:54 a.m. this time. So that's like, what, 11 o'clock Eastern time, New York time?
Sure. Last night?
Today. Yeah.
Okay, so 11 o'clock in the morning.
With the text, I'm going to need an emergency Wulff Den from Vegas explaining what the effin' S. And it's this picture.
Ah, okay, this is important.
Yeah.
This is an important picture.
So we have to explain why Toad from the Mario Brothers games has human legs.
Because he's a really good runner and jumper.
He is.
He's almost as good as Mario himself.
We know he's the fastest of Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad.
Right.
Is he also the best jumper? No, Peach is the best jumper.
No, Luigi's the best. Luigi's the highest jumper.
Highest jumper. Peach floats. Yes.
Yeah. Toad, I don't think he jumps as high.
Right.
But he's the fastest runner.
Yes.
And that's why his legs are so buff.
Yes. There you go.
So there you go.
All those
That's
years of running, that's why.
That explains that.
Yep. And that was all I have to talk about this week.
I'm hearing we're too quiet, but someone else also said that microphone is bae. So
there you go.
you are gonna have to blast it because I don't want to. We can peak at any moment too.
Yeah.
So I guess I can up the game. I don't want to touch it. We already started. I do get we do get often people say we're too quiet, but I also don't want to peak.
There you go.
So that's a problem. I'd rather not peak.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just try to talk loud.
Yes.
I also want to mention that if you go over to our Instagram.com/WulffDen, let's see here if I can do this correctly. Boom. We went to a game store today.
We did.
It was a very nice game store.
Was it called We Play Games?
We Play Games in Las Vegas. And they had
the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw.
They had a
whole
This was one of the biggest game stores I've ever seen.
Yes. There's nice custom
Turtles NES, Captain America, and
Game
the
Gear.
Avengers for the Game Gear, which was too much money. I think it was like 35 or something. Did not want that. This was awesome for $189.
Yeah.
There's not many Mega Man games on Sega systems.
No.
That's why this was a big deal.
Yes.
This Titanfall, Titan, there's a little dude on top.
Yeah.
This is Mario. This outfit is in Super Mario Odyssey. That's why I took a picture of it. But most importantly, there's a picture of this too, but I'm not going to show it. If you want to see it, go to the friggin' Instagram. Where are we? There we are. I bought myself Mario 2 for the Famicom because I don't have it and I've always wanted it.
For the Famicom disc system, to be specific.
So,
it is a two-sided disc that also comes with volleyball on the back.
Yes, it says volleyball right here in Japanese.
So now we need a Famicom and a Famicom disc system.
Yes.
But it's really cool. So if you're in the Las Vegas area, check that out. They have 2 locations, one east, one west. And they got pretty much anything you're looking for. And some stuff is expensive, but some stuff is reasonably priced.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like that $35 for that is not bad. It's on Amazon right now for $75.
Like they had perfect.
I'm wondering, like, is this a different version? Like, is the one on Amazon different?
From what I remember of Famicom Disk System games, like that's the entire packaging. What you have.
Okay.
And the way they worked was they were read-writable.
Right.
So you could like take them and like rewrite them and stuff. The one that's on Amazon might be like an original never opened.
I'm actually going to open this right now.
Oh boy.
Because this isn't the original.
Yeah. Cellophane.
Yeah. Whoop. Almost dropped it. But this looks like the original case.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it is.
I mean, this is the original like paper and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it has a space on the B side where you write in what the game is.
Yeah.
And they wrote in volleyball.
I'm pretty sure like everything you have is original. It's just not in its original.
So that is the Super Mario 2 logo.
Yeah.
So this is legit.
Yeah, and where it says Nintendo, you see how it's indented a certain way?
Yes.
That's their form of DRM.
So that says Super Mario 2, just like it says here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's their form of DRM because the I and the N are hollow. You see they're darker. A piece of plastic clamps onto it.
Gaming Historian did an excellent
yes, he has an excellent video on this.
A video on the Famicom Disk System and Super Mario 2. So if you want to know more, check that out.
Yes. Now, how do I put this in? The other side has, I think that's a volleyball sticker.
It looks like it.
I don't know, it's like 2 girls with knee pads, unless that's something else. That's cool. I'm into it. I'm happy with my purchase. I'm never going to play this game.
Unless we get a Famicom
Unless
Disk
we get a
System.
Famicom Disk System and I get some time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, there's a lot to talk about. I don't know. So we're going to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes, we are.
Definitely. I don't know if I want to start with that, though. Cause
right.
I'm going to try not to get any spoilers, but we might get a little
There's going to be spoilers. Let's be real.
So I want to kind of save that for the end, in case anybody wants to leave. We have to talk about the Switch, and we have to talk about Videogamedunky.
Yeah.
Did you watch that video?
I did.
Videogamedunky?
Yes.
You did watch the video.
I did watch the video.
Let's start with Videogamedunky.
Okay.
So Videogamedunky made a video on games journalism.
Yes. Specifically reviews.
I love his videos. He's a very funny man. Did you enjoy his comedy?
Yes, I did.
So yes, he talks specifically about video game reviews, specifically about Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Because he didn't really like the new remake of Crash Bandicoot. And specifically because there was one part that he couldn't get past.
Right.
And because of that, he panned it. And he thinks that video game review sites didn't review it harsh enough. Even though I think IGN gave it like 75, which is like not...
Which is low for them.
Yeah, that's not great. Yeah, double check that. I think it was a 74. That might be Metacritic though. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of review sites, they're rating it in like the 6s, which is very low for your IGNs, your GameStops.
Here's my problem with I don't like game review scores.
Yeah, IGN gave it an 8.5.
Wow.
Which is,
okay.
If you ask me, is way too high.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
What did Metacritic? What's the Metacritic score? So, my problem with game review scores is that some editors say that a 5 is average because it's in the middle. It's not like test scores.
The Metacritic,
but most people say that 75 or to 85 is average.
The Metacritic is 81.
I don't know where the hell I got 74. I'm glad you double checked.
Yeah,
I'm always wrong.
The thing with like game review scores, especially from like the bigger outlets, is the old joke is they usually run. You know, they usually 1 to 10, but they'll only ever use 6 to 9. You know, to rate and review games. Anything with a 6 is garbage. Anything with a 9 is an absolute masterpiece.
Right. That's why some people say that 5 is average.
Right.
And that just doesn't make sense to me.
In a perfect world, 5 is average.
Right, but most people go by test scores.
Yeah.
So they should just go by test scores.
Right.
So he thinks that it was bad, and he also says that these review sites aren't consistent with their reviews.
That I agree with.
Really?
Yes.
I think that it's pretty obvious that there's a lot of different people reviewing these games.
Right. But the thing is, they don't make that specifically clear most of the time. Because, these websites, in addition to having reviews, they have features and they have podcasts and, on-air talent, things like that. So the official, I'll just use IGN as an example. The official IGN score of a game will be very high, but then on a podcast, everybody trashes it.
Right.
So you're not getting a consistency from one part of the same website to the next. The review is supposed to represent what the entire website thinks about this game.
I disagree about that.
All right,
because you have different people, and those people are entitled to their own opinions.
Right, but if IGN is going to say that we are endorsing this score as the official IGN score, then there should be at least some consistency throughout the website. I understand that it's a big site. They have a lot of people working there, and everybody's review is different. Everybody's opinion on the game is different. But the fact that there's so little consistency throughout is it can be alarming. Well, especially when Sonic Mania comes out.
Right. I think Destiny is one of the best games ever.
Right.
You don't like it too much.
Right.
So the Wulff Den consensus is skewed on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't say the Wulff Den approves Destiny.
You can say Bob of the Wulff Den approves Destiny.
Right, but so this should be Justin Davis approves Crash Bandicoot. Right.
To compare it to another art form, you look at RogerEbert.com.
Is that still a site?
That's still a site.
Wow.
Since he passed away, they've kept it alive, the site. But they have a collective of reviewers, a handful of reviewers, review movies for it every week. And those reviews will represent the official opinion of the website as a whole. Now, sometimes, one reviewer will disagree with another about certain movies, but overall, what is published is acknowledged as the official review of the site.
Well, IGN does that too, but then they have a different reviewer review a sequel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, how are they supposed to keep consistency when you have something like that?
I think it's just that it should be when you put out the official final score, there should be an explicit acknowledgement that this is what the website as a whole is saying about the product. Whereas, you put out, say the review is an 8.5, the reviewer says it's really good, but then, over on this side of the site, they're all saying it's not good, don't bother playing it, with no acknowledgement of what the official review was, or just a passing acknowledgement of it. I think there should be a little there should be more of an acknowledgement of what the other opinion was.
So a solution to that would be review by committee,
right?
But I don't like that. Because that's what Metacritic is. Metacritic is review by committee.
Electronic Gaming Monthly, when that used to be around, for some of the bigger games, they would have 3 people review it.
Right.
And they would each give their score. Or a magazine like Famitsu in Japan, they have 4 people review it. And
I think that's a good idea for big games to have a discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to one person reviewing the game and giving a final opinion. I just think that if that's going to be the website's official final stamp on the game, then it needs to be acknowledged throughout.
Right. Bateman, thank you for the €5 super chat.
Oh, we're going international.
Hello from
here.
Belgium, listening while working late. 3 a.m. here. God damn.
You were a soldier, sir.
Thank you for being here. It is. We're on the West Coast now, so it is only 6.
Yeah.
Usually this is 9 for us. So Slippy says YouTubers are more reliable than the media, in my opinion. That's the thing. This is what I was saying before. IGN has personalities on there.
Right.
So, and Videogamedunky targeted IGN pretty much.
Because they're the biggest.
Yeah. They have personalities on there. So they're all going to, and they are all entitled to their opinions.
Yeah,
what you're saying is that there is an IGN seal of approval.
More or less.
The IGN official score, and that needs to be acknowledged.
Yes.
I think I could just separate myself from that. When I'm listening to a podcast, I know it's not the guy who reviewed it, but I also always read who reviewed the thing, and it's not very prominent to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Or I watch the video, and in the video review, whoever's narrating it is the person who wrote the review.
Right. You know,
so that's a good way to tell who's doing it. And what AJ says here is you can see that Jonathan Dornbush is a big Crash fan, so they gave it to a Crash fan to review a game aimed at Crash fans. Of course, he's going to say he enjoyed a remaster of a bad game that he loved when it was bad the first time. He does not like Crash Bandicoot.
I mean, that's another thing, too. I mean, Crash Bandicoot is an old game from a much different time when platforming was a lot more difficult, and, you know, it was a 32-bit game, so those games don't really age very well.
That's the thing. I don't think Crash Bandicoot works today at all.
Yeah, no.
It is a PS1 game, end of story.
Yeah.
So if you gave that to somebody now who has never played a Crash game, I don't think they would like it.
Unless they had, you know, really remade the game and like made it like the controls and stuff to the standard of modern games, which from this it appears that they haven't. You know, the controls and the level design, but
right. Well, because then you have purists. You don't want to screw with stuff. But in this video, you have to watch this video. It's a very good video.
Yeah.
He talks about this one part where you have to hop on a turtle and like bounce off him and jump over a gap. And they made it insanely hard.
Yeah.
They didn't like change it enough, and it's now insanely difficult.
Yeah.
And because of that, he says the game is broken and should get a really bad score. The reason this is such a big deal is because it got a lot of backlash from this video.
Right.
Also, I said Justin Davis before because there's a big part of the video where he talks about how Justin Davis keeps saying that there is no good Sonic games.
Yes.
And that is kind of what I based my video around. I should have added a clip of him saying that.
Yeah.
He says over and over again, there are no good Sonic games, there are no good Sonic games, there are no good Sonic games. And then there's a part where Marty Sleva says, Sonic's great. And Justin goes, yeah. It's clear that he was just trying to move the conversation along.
Yeah.
He wasn't going back on it what he said. He still doesn't like Sonic.
Right.
And everybody's entitled to their opinions. They're all personalities.
Yeah, he's entitled to his wrong opinion about Sonic the Hedgehog. But
yes. Sonic's great. There are plenty of great Sonic games.
There are many great Sonic games.
But this video sparked a lot of backlash.
Right.
Let me see if I can pull up. Oh, I have it right here. Somebody collected tweets from all over the games media.
Yeah.
Like this guy, Choi, who says, I ultimately don't care about Dunkey thinking poorly of game sites because I'm used to it, but it's nice to find out he effing hates us too. Especially because I've had fun watching his channel at work with people, blah, blah, blah. People he specifically calls effing idiots in the video, but oh well. See, that's the thing. Like, he likes this person likes this. Oh, this is a girl. Chloe. Her name's Chloe. If this person likes this YouTuber, why does she have to stop liking this YouTuber? Because he criticizes them. Like he makes good videos,
right.
And he makes some valid points.
Right.
I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but he does. It's funny, you know.
Yeah.
Max Scoville said, "Man, that video was a bummer. I like that dude's videos, and he makes one specifically pooping on my friends because of where they work? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? So what? Like, you could still like the guy's videos.
I feel like this is
people getting really butthurt over.
Well, no, this is people who work at like major games outlets getting hurt about it, and
they're taking it personally.
That's a whole different discussion because there's this very sharp divide between people who work at games media sites like IGN, Polygon, Kotaku, GameStop versus people on YouTube. There's like when the whole PewDiePie thing went down, almost every single game site was against him. Almost every single one. Yeah, and it's similar, and this is a very similar situation to that. Because I don't want to know if it's because games media feels threatened by YouTube, or
a lot of the media
because
does.
YouTubers are very like vocal and active in their stance against traditional games media. But there's this very clear us versus them mentality on both sides of the argument.
And I don't understand why. I love IGN.
Yeah, me too. I probably visit them more than any other website.
Right.
Like a week. So, like, I have no like they do a lot of things I don't agree with, and they do a lot of things I do agree with.
I also like Kotaku.
Yes, I like Kotaku. I like Polygon.
But to be fair, they all do things wrong.
Yeah.
And it's okay to criticize.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, hey, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah, like, and you know, we're gonna talk about Spider-Man: Homecoming in a little bit. Spoiler alert: we really liked it.
Yeah.
Movie Bob Chipman, who I watch on YouTube all the time, he's the biggest Spider-Man fan there is, didn't like it all that much.
Right.
And if you ask me, I think it's because he holds the Raimi films at too high of a standard.
Yeah, honestly, those videos are old and they don't hold up like you think they do.
I mean, I still love Spider-Man 1 and 2.
They're good. They're good movies.
They're like this is an apples and oranges
Right.
thing. Like obviously you're not going to get the Raimi films ever again.
We'll get to that later.
But the point remains.
I'm not saying that like that person had a wrong opinion.
Yeah.
Again, everybody's entitled to their wrong opinion.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are things that they do that are wrong. Like I'm trying to think of one. Like Kotaku did something. They got information from somebody who snuck into a game developer.
Yeah.
And they leaked it. Like that's not cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. You just stole information.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like everybody does things wrong, and they're entitled to be criticized for
right.
that. But they can I still like Kotaku even though they've done things that were wrong. Dan Stapleton brings up a good point. How come every YouTuber doesn't agree on how good games are? All their reviews appear on the same site. Where's the consistency? That's a good
That's a good.
Because at IGN they're all on the same site, but they all can have their own opinions.
I mean,
but like you said, it should be more clear what the
because I think it's more
is.
obvious that like there's a million people using YouTube, and that all the opinions are going to vary from one channel to the next, whereas IGN it says IGN editor's choice. That means that the editors of IGN think that this is a good game to buy, but then you're going to have like a whole group of them saying don't. That's something to think about.
Susan Arndt, I don't know.
I think it's Arndt.
Why am I supposed to care about this donkey video exactly? That's saying that you care. These people are very butthurt. Mike Rogu, I wish I knew more of these people. Holy poop, this donkey video is bad. It is not a bad video.
No.
It is a good video. You just don't agree with it. And it's okay to disagree. That's the thing. Like these people are so upset.
They're so protective of the way they do things. It's that us versus them mentality.
Yeah.
Somebody's attacking them, so they feel the need to strike back.
Patricia Hernandez, who we like, says, read Donkey's new video. Yes, big outlets use many different writers, but they also build a body of work which you can get to know, which I agree with.
For the most part, yeah.
That was good. This other person has a big long thing I'm not going to read, and that's all I got here.
Yeah.
But Donkey tweeted something along the lines of, I see 15 or so people. I see about 15 people who are really who are just tweeting garbage, and about 2 people who said anything like productive.
Yeah.
Because he's right. And he upset a lot of people. His video has an insane amount of views. It's got like 2 million or 3 million or something. And I don't know. Like somebody else tweeted, if you don't work in games media, you don't understand. YouTubers won't understand games media, and games media won't understand YouTubers.
Yeah.
Unless you worked in both.
Right.
And I think this guy worked at both, and he understood. So I don't know what the point of this argument was. It's just a lot of controversy over nothing. You just need to be able to take some criticism.
Right. I think it's people.
And for the record, I don't agree with what Donkey even said. I think that they're all entitled to their own different opinions, but they all took it a little too hard.
Right. I feel like,
and I still love Donkey.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm a YouTuber. I'm not a games media.
I feel like that they're people just should be aware first that of the war between games media, traditional games media, and YouTubers, because it's a stupid war. There shouldn't be one. Everybody's in this for the same reason. But also too, just be aware that people have varying opinions, and that's okay. Not just in what games you like, but in life in general. We don't agree on everything, but that's okay. I have friends who, I disagree with all the time, and that's okay. I almost punched one of my dearest friends in the face because he thinks that tipping housekeeping is dumb. I almost did that, but that's okay. I'm still his friend.
I just learned that you have to leave a note when you say when you leave the tip.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do they keep leaving this? But they think it's changed.
Yeah.
So now I screwed up.
So it's just added up over the course of however long you.
I know that's what I usually do, and apparently you're not supposed to do that because one housekeeping person. Anyway, somebody asked, where is it? Are you in Vegas? I lost it, but yes, we are in Vegas.
Yes, we are.
Pikachu says, well, I've seen some of the IGN guys go on another the whole Skyward Sword is crap, yet the score on the site is well over 8, may have a 9.5.
Skyward Sword has a 10 on IGN.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
That's like, people say it's like one of the worst like Zelda games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel like that's another topic because they'll do that. Like, if it's a big franchise like Zelda,
yeah,
I think they expect it to be really good, so they give it a really good review.
Well, I feel like that's different. That's a case of where, games journalism is at odds with what the average person, the regular consumer, is thinking. I'll give you a movie example. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, last I checked, has like an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes. Find somebody who likes that movie right now. Like, nobody does.
Right.
But like, it has a ridiculously high Rotten Tomatoes score. It has a ridiculously high box office return. But everything that you're going to see about that is at odds with what the general consensus is.
That's why I just don't like scores.
Right.
That's why I don't review anything. I also don't review anything because we never get early copies of anything.
We don't.
But if I like something, I will tell you something special about it. Yeah. And if I hate something, I will tell you what is wrong with it. Right. But I'm not going to tell you like how much I like it. I can't rate something like that.
Yeah.
It's more important to get a bit of information from a game than see a number and be like, okay, how do I feel about this? So that's all I have to say about that. Tevia says, Will, any opinion on Homecoming as a whole? And I will say we will get to that in a minute.
Yes.
But first, let's quickly run through so there's a Switch firmware situation.
Okay. I need to know this because I just bought one.
They discovered that there is an NES emulator built into the firmware.
Really?
Yes. It is called NES Flog, which people thinks stands for Future Log.
Okay.
So it's just an NES emulator built inside the firmware.
That's
so
very
it's
good
there
to know.
already. Now, this is a little bit confusing because why is there an NES emulator and not a Super Nintendo emulator or a Game Boy emulator or any of these other things? So like so that means that Virtual Console, a part of Virtual Console is there, but not the rest of Virtual Console. So why is it only NES?
I guess here's my theory.
I think we're gonna have the same theory
based on the 2 minutes of you talking about it, because otherwise I know nothing about this.
Right.
I feel like the NES emulator was put in there as part of an early test.
Okay. Like
they were testing getting software emulation of their catalog titles on the Switch.
That is a good theory.
But yeah, it's in my opinion, the Switch came out very early, like much sooner than it was probably ready for. And if you ask me, because of all the quirks, it's still a beta product. Because of that, they only had time to get NES emulation either up and running or at least started by the time the Switch came out. So SNES emulation, Game Boy emulation, N64, GameCube, all that stuff isn't ready for prime time just yet. So when the whole big internet update that's supposed to come later this year or early next year, by the time that rolls around, hopefully the rest of the emulation will be ready to go.
I don't think we know when the internet update's happening, but we know the app's coming next year, early next year. The mobile app.
Right.
I think that's a very good theory, and I kind of agree with that. But my original theory was that I think that they want to put the NES Classic as a whole, like that software, into the Switch because they canceled it. So all of those games are going to be one
pack.
App on the Switch.
See,
and the same thing with the SNES Classic.
When they canceled the NES Classic, I said that it would be if they did that, but then released those games as a package bundle on the Switch Virtual Console for the same price, I would be okay with that. Right. That would be a smart move.
It should be a little cheaper because you're not buying hardware.
Yeah.
Like $40.
Knowing Nintendo, they're not going to release it for cheaper.
Right. I think that would be good. I would like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I might, even buy that, and I have a NES Classic already.
Right.
So
See, I got all those. I got the 3DS Ambassador games.
Yeah.
So I have like 20.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of those. Some of those are on there.
Yeah.
But no, I would like that. I would like I would like the Super Nintendo Classic stuff on the Switch.
Absolutely,
that would be awesome too. I think both of those options would be great. Some people are saying that because it is the NES firmware, because the NES emulator is in the firmware. People are saying that the NES emulator is going to be its own app, so it would be like NES, Super NES, Game Boy, which I think would be great.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
The old Virtual Console way was each game was its own app.
Yeah,
and the way the NES, the Switch's HUD is laid out, or its UI is laid out, is that it's like the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, just have a row of squares.
A long row of squares, and that doesn't work when you have a million games, which is going to happen to me. So having one app that's like, these are your NES games would be so much better.
Yeah.
Sounds like a small thing, but it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Graham says, test the NES first. Yep, so he agrees with you.
Mm-hmm.
He also said, agreed, Will. Tevye says, I think the Switch did come out way too early. I don't. I think it was a test because they wanted to roll it out slowly. Right. It sold really quickly, more than they expected. However, it would have sold much more quickly if they did it towards the holidays.
Yeah.
So they're rolling it out a lot slower.
Over a long period of time.
They didn't want a big boom.
Right.
Even though they kind of had one anyway.
Yeah, but the reason why I think it's still in beta for the most part is because there are things that you expect the console to either do or have that it just doesn't.
It is in beta. Yeah, for sure. It is early. You're an early adopter if you can. I don't want to say it's too early because the games that are on it are great.
Yeah. And
it works awesome, but like you said, it doesn't have the internet stuff. So.
It doesn't have the internet stuff, doesn't have virtual console. The whole save game problem is like
that you can't transfer them.
You can't transfer things and things.
That needs to be fixed with the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, AJ says the full app, so that's the internet app thing on your phone.
Yeah.
Is coming next year. The trial version is coming along with Splatoon, which is important because it's gonna have the voice chat, and you get that wacky adapter if you get the headset.
And the whole online subscription thing that they're doing for $30 a year. When is that next year?
I think that's next year. That's yes, yeah. That's is that people are going to be upset about that because they're going to be used to it being free, and then one day it's going to cost money.
Well,
and then they're going to be pissed.
In fairness, Nintendo has been very open about the fact that like we're going to start charging for this. We're have to delay it just so that you know. But
Zan Man, where'd he go? I hope Sunshine is going to be on the Switch soon. I haven't played that game in a long while. That is one of my anticipated Virtual Console games. Mm-hmm. Phase COD 4 Jev. Great name. The PS Vita has more features than the Switch, and it's old. Come on, Nintendo. Well, that's because it's been out for a while.
Yeah, I mean, but that's fair.
Also, I don't know if it has more features. It can't plug into a TV.
It can't plug into a TV. You have to get...
That's like an important feature.
You have to get stupid proprietary memory cards, which are at this point more expensive than a Vita itself.
That is true, too. I forgot about that.
But, I mean, you can do things like transfer saves and have more than one memory card. And, you can... If you delete the game, you can re-download it, no problem.
The cross-buy is one of the cross-buy and cross-save is one of the best things on the Vita. And it kind of makes up for it not being able to plug into a TV. Yeah. Because you could just... A lot of the games you can play on your PS4 with cross-buy and cross-save. But unfortunately, not all games do that. Yeah. Rainbow Vader, what do you guys think about the Wii U becoming this generation version of the Dreamcast?
They had a very similar situation. They are both great hardwares with great titles that were underlooked.
I wouldn't say that the Wii U is great hardware. The Dreamcast is great hardware. Yes. I wouldn't say that the Wii U is great hardware. And I think that was its biggest downfall.
That was part of it.
And a lot of the marketing, because people thought it was just an add-on to the Wii.
The tablet was, I think, too much.
Right. And that is poor. That is part of the hardware, and that is poor.
Yeah. I mean, you also got to look at it, at the time when Sega released the Dreamcast, they just got done with the Saturn, which was a failure. So they tried to make their comeback, but by then it was too late. Nintendo was riding off of the success of the Wii, the most successful video game system ever. So they tried to, replicate the success, but it didn't work the second time. Right. So we expected more from Nintendo at that point.
I always get confused. I think the PS2 did better than the Wii.
It might have.
I think the Wii's actually 4, and in between are DSs, like the 3DS and the DS.
Right. No, I think you're right.
Because I always think the Wii was the best of all time, but I think the PS2 beat it by like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, AJ says, I hate the Dreamcast controller. You're stupid. It's a great controller. The problem with the controller is that it doesn't have an analog stick on the right side.
The problem with the controller is that the cord comes out on the wrong end, and you gotta like do the little thing.
What do you mean? Oh, it comes out of the bottom.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
Yeah, no, the Dreamcast controller. It
has a thing. You bend it.
Yeah,
it has a thing. Yeah.
The Dreamcast controller is an okay controller. I don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is, but
I think it is awesome because it paved the way for the Xbox controller, which is the most important controller in video games.
Right.
Actually, I wouldn't say that. The D-pad.
Yeah, the NES.
The Nintendo D-pad.
Yeah.
The Game & Watch D-pad.
Game & Watch, yeah.
Yes, that is very important.
Ultimate Jelloman, do you have any thoughts on why Nintendo won't release any games in HD collections? I understand they want their flagship franchises to have big HD updates for 60 Dead Presidents, but the smaller games.
Because they're all perfect already.
I mean, but I see what he's saying. You know, just maybe not like, you know, the full HD version of, you know, what was the game I was thinking of that?
You got to talk towards the mic.
Right. Like, you know, completely redraw all the sprites and stuff. You know, don't do that. But at least get these games up and running in HD, like, so we can play them on the Wii U and the Switch.
Well, they should do that in Virtual Console. But
right.
I don't think they should do something like reskin Mario 64.
No, not that.
You know, like
Just
that
like,
game is... I've trashed that game a lot, and it has the worst textures I've ever seen. But the mechanics are fine.
Yeah.
As long as you're not using an N64 controller. So the mechanics are all perfect in all of their games.
Right.
For the most part. So I don't think they need HD updates.
I think they just need to be able to play on HD TVs and not have the lag input that occurs when you try to hook up an NES to a
That's
HD
fair
TV.
enough. They could do that in Virtual Console.
Right.
So we don't need an HD updates.
Yeah.
We just need them to be upscaled in Virtual Console.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Wulff Den consensus stamp of approval.
Yes.
On that. Okay, now let's get into Spider-Man Homecoming. What time is it?
It's 6:40.
Okay, let's make this quick.
Okay.
We're gonna try to not do spoilers, and then we'll get into spoilers.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yes, it was.
How good was it, Will?
Okay, I still think Spider-Man 1 and 2 are great films, but I feel like it is right up there with it. It's a different kind of Spider-Man.
It is very different
than
I have ever seen Spider-Man in my life.
I think what was throwing people off is just how upbeat it is, because like the Raimi films and the Mark Webb films are like very serious,
right?
And like very like at times dark and dramatic. And this has like drama and stuff in it, but it's very light. And in all honesty, it's a kids movie.
Yeah,
it's very much a movie about kids for kids.
I'd say aged up. It's like teens.
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, this is something because the other Marvel films are about adults and adult problems and things like that. This is very clearly for kids, which is fine. You know, that's Spider-Man.
I'd say teens.
Spider-Man has always skewed younger anyway. So
I think I said that this is like no Spider-Man movie I've ever seen before,
right.
But it nails Spider-Man.
It certainly
completely.
Yeah. Tom Holland might just be the best live action. I've been saying this a lot, but he might just solidify him as the best live action Spider-Man.
He because the Sam Raimi films, those are very dark.
Yeah,
and Tobey Maguire wasn't like the talky like making jokes all the time like Spider-Man. Tom Holland is. And it's still dark at times.
Right.
The Spider-Man formula is funny, dark, right. You know, like long stretches of funny and then a little bit of dark.
But not only that, like, you have to remember, because Peter Parker is just a nerd, and he's picked on all the time, and he has the worst luck. You don't want to be like Peter Parker. Spider-Man, on the other hand, he makes jokes, he's fun, you know, he's cool. You want to be more like Spider-Man. And the Sam Raimi movies, Tobey Maguire was a good Peter Parker, bad Spider-Man. The Mark Webb movies, Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man, bad Peter Parker. Really bad Peter Parker. And this one, Tom Holland is able to capture both, and he's able to like meld the two in a way that like it's easy. You can easily go in and out of them.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield was a terrible Peter Parker. I forgot about that.
I was talking to my friend about it, and he's like, "Yo, he's a really bad Peter Parker."
In Spider-Man 2, he was like a hot shot, like cool guy, and I was like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah, he was like
Peter
with
Parker?
the Edward Cullen hair, and like Peter Parker does a skateboard. Peter Parker has never fought Flash Thompson in his life.
Yeah.
You know,
Flash Thompson was awesome.
Yeah.
He was totally different.
He was
than
very
I've ever seen.
but it was still a bully. He was just a different. It was a modern bully.
So yeah, it was a modern bully.
yeah.
He was an asshole.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
It makes me wonder, like, because I did my video today on Venom Circle of 4, which just features the Flash Thompson Venom, and I'm like, can he do Flash?
That
Thompson
would be
Venom?
so.
That would be
cool.
really weird, but I'd be into that.
I think they should just not have Eddie Brock and just go right to Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
But not that. But have him be like the Eddie Brock Venom.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Because what's the difference
Yeah.
anyway? But no, Flash Thompson was one of my favorite like original twists.
Yeah.
Like they did a lot of their own original, like the Vulture.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
That was another. I've never seen him like that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Amazing.
Michael Keaton's one of those actors, like, you know he's good in like everything he's done.
Right.
But people only really know him for Batman and Beetlejuice. But like now that he's starting to like come back in like a big way with this and Birdman and The Founder and all these other things, you're reminded of like, oh, that's right, Michael Keaton freaking rocks.
Right.
So,
the love interest was there.
Yes.
Wasn't a big part of it, I don't think.
It surprisingly wasn't, which is interesting because Peter Parker's love life is a big deal.
It becomes a big deal towards the end.
Yes.
But for the most part, that's not what I was thinking about when I was watching the movie.
Right. They didn't focus on it as much as all the other movies did, which I think is good because this movie had to be different in every single way it could be, and it was.
Who's this little sidekick guy, Ned?
Ned Leeds.
Awesome.
Yes, very good. He had the right amount of comedic time, and they didn't overuse him.
And he's not even like a thing that Spider-Man needs. Spider-Man does not need a dude with him. He doesn't need a sidekick.
No, he doesn't need a best friend, but he had one, and it's good that he had one.
That kind of made it more like a teen, like like Disney movie kind of deal. But it worked very well. And that's the thing, like, we keep saying it's for kids or teens.
Yeah.
I'm saying teens because it was a little dirty. It was like, that's a movie where if I was like 9 and I came with my parents, I'd be embarrassed at some points.
I guess so, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like it's nothing too extreme. It's nothing overly explicit. You know, there's a porn joke at one point, but
that was awesome.
But other than that,
Penis Parker.
Well, I mean, like, come on, you're 9. You're saying if you know somebody named Peter, you're calling him Penis anyway. So, yeah, I don't think it's anything. Like, you could take kids of all ages to see this. It's not like Winter Soldier. I would not take a 9-year-old to see Winter Soldier.
No. But this movie was amazing.
Yes.
I know a lot of people who didn't like it. Yeah. And I feel like if you don't like Spider-Man, you're just not gonna. There's just no way for you to enjoy anything with Spider-Man in it. And that's the thing. Spider-Man hasn't had any good stories since Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
The Sam Raimi one. There has been no good Spider-Man stories.
It's been very. I mean,
people like Spectacular Spider-Man the show.
I like Spectacular Spider-Man the show.
I thought it was all right. You liked it because it was made by the people who made Kim Possible.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
It wasn't.
Not even the...
No, different, completely different.
Well, it looks like Kim Possible. Screw you.
The character design was by Sean Cheeks Galloway. I don't know who does Kim Possibles, but that was...
I figured you know who did Kim Possibles.
No, Spectacular Spider-Man's character design was by comic book artist Sean Galloway, who's very good at everything he does. But yeah, no, it's like Spider-Man has that good stuff, but like the amount of good stuff he's had compared to a lot of the bad stuff he's had sometimes gets overshadowed by all the bad stuff. So the fact that, Spider-Man 3 wasn't the movie it should have been. Mark Webb's Spider-Man movies were too busy trying to chase trends rather than be good Spider-Man movies. And now the fact that he's finally back in the graces of Marvel, where he belongs, because part of the appeal of Spider-Man is his relationship to the greater Marvel universe. Everyone else is off globe-trotting and going intergalactic. And Spider-Man has done that, but for the most part, he's a very New York character, and he's centralized in New York for the most part. So you get like the street level perspective that Marvel has kind of done with the Netflix shows, but this is on a much better, much more well-known scale.
I feel like later they can go into darker territory.
Oh,
but
yeah.
for now, it had the perfect amount of dark.
Yeah,
which wasn't that much.
It wasn't that much. There's a twist at the end, towards the end, which we won't get into right now. But
I don't think we need to do spoilers. I think we kind of nailed everything.
Okay. Well, there's a twist at the end where like
people who saw it will know. What
I wasn't expecting it, but the second it happened, the theater went quiet, and everyone was like, "Whoa!"
I expected it.
Really?
The twist, yeah. The second the second he walked up to it, I was like, I was like, I get this, but I was expecting it 10 minutes before that. But once that was happening, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and it was just like very like what's gonna happen, what's going on, and then it sort of just like snowballed out of control from there, slowly, I would say, but it worked really well.
It worked awesome, and this was very much a Marvel movie, but it was different than a lot of the other Marvel movies we've seen so far.
I feel like the Marvel movies since Winter Soldier have been starting to fall into like this trend. Like they've all started to become a little samey in a way. They've been over reliant on humor. A lot of times to
Guardians of the Galaxy was over reliant on humor. I liked it a lot,
right?
But
the first one, like that worked. The first one,
yeah, the second one.
The second one. I mean, I like all the Marvel movies, even the bad ones. But lately, they've been, just falling into like this really bad trend of like the humor and a sameness and like kind of a staleness in a way. Like I did not think Doctor Strange was as good as Ant-Man.
Oh, I thought it was way better than Ant-Man.
Which I know a lot of people that like. I thought Ant-Man was actually a lot more clever and unique.
Well, you've never
seen
Tower Heist with Eddie Murphy.
I have never seen Tower Heist.
His name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Yeah.
I guess I haven't.
Yeah, that's why you liked it.
But like Doctor Strange was like, I mean, everybody says it was similar to Iron Man, but with magic, and it kind of was. But like that, I felt like used the humor to its detriment. Civil War, I really like Civil War, but it wasn't as good as Winter Soldier was.
Winter Soldier was.
It should have
pivotal
been,
Marvel movie.
It should have been a darker movie than it was. It still could have like had jokes and stuff, but it should have been darker than it was. But like Homecoming now is like the first Phase 3 Marvel movie, and it's the first one since Winter Soldier that I feel like they're starting to get back on track. This wasn't like a big Spider-Man movie. Like I was saying, Bob Shipman before when he was reviewing it, like it doesn't really necessarily say anything like important, but at the same time, it doesn't need to. Like it was just good at what it set out to do, and what it set out to do was remind people why Spider-Man is great and to bring him into the Marvel universe.
I think that they set up this movie to try to go back and do more of the Spider-Man Civil War stuff.
Yeah.
Or they pretty much opened it up so anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's great. It looks like, I think Marvel's even said that Spider-Man the second Spider-Man is going to be the next wave of Marvel movies.
Yeah,
after
phase 4, yeah.
Phase 4, after all the stuff they have slated.
Yeah.
Marvel's going to be the new Captain America. He's going to be the new...
Spider-Man's going to be the new Captain America.
Yeah, what did I say?
Marvel.
Spider-Man's going to be the new Captain America, I think. Spider-Man's going to be the main
Absolutely,
Marvel.
yeah.
And that's exactly where he should be.
Yeah.
And that makes me really happy.
Yes, because...
that Spider-Man is going to be the center point of all the Marvel stuff.
Right, which he should have always been.
Yes. Spider-Man used to be my favorite hero until everything he was in was terrible.
Yeah.
And then Batman was so much better.
Yeah. But now Batman movies are terrible. So.
Yeah, so like I'm so excited to get good Spider-Man stuff and for him to be the center focus of all this stuff. Because Spider-Man is amazing.
Speaking of which, I didn't read it yet, but Spider-Man 2 first issue came out today.
Really?
Yes, I have to still buy that.
So I've said that everything Spider-Man's been in is trash, except for Spider-Man.
Yes.
Spider-Man is fantastic.
Is great.
Oh, also, Ultimate Spider-Man with Miles Morales is good stuff.
Yes, that's very good.
And that's why Spider-Man is good.
Yes.
And apparently, I don't know if I should say this because it might be a little bit of a spoiler.
What?
But there's some ties to Miles Morales.
Yes, there is.
They don't say Miles Morales.
They don't say,
movie,
but one character.
Afterwards, you go on Wikipedia and you can be like, "Oh, there's Miles."
There's a hint at it. We were watching it in the theater. I leaned over to my fiance and I told her what the reference was. She's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. So it's not something that you
it's not obvious,
catch,
but if you know the reference, it's like a good.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yes.
That's possible. Imagine 2 Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Or they make a Spider-Man movie.
A Spider-Verse movie.
That'd be a little much.
That would be.
Please don't. I'm also excited that the X-Men is just as confusing as the comics and the TV show.
Yes, absolutely.
That timeline, the cinematic universe timeline, makes absolutely no sense.
They're gearing up to do Dark Phoenix, the next X-Men movie, again. I mean, I don't know.
Wolverine's not going to be in it.
Yeah, no.
Or is he? We don't know.
We don't know. Probably not. I don't know. X-Men's a whole nother can of worms.
All right, so we're done?
Yes, we're done.
Okay. Let's go to the chat here.
Yeah.
Somebody said something. Graham says, the best part of Homecoming was that Vulture was a brilliant villain who is exactly what a good villain should be. You 100% agree with what he wants. I don't know about that. 100% disagree with what he is doing to get it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
yes, I agree
absolutely.
with that.
Yeah, no. He's a working class man. He's blue collar. He, feels like that the guys up top, that the big superheroes are like, pushing him to the side and pushing their agenda, whereas he's trying to, just provide for his family. And it works. It makes sense. And he winds up being, a complete monster about it. But it's handled very well.
I Slap Cats says, I really disliked the new bully in Spider-Man Homecoming. I liked the idea of a new and modern Spider-Man and everything. But then this really weird, crazy 80s bully, like in Back to the Future, I don't think he was like a crazy 80s bully.
No.
He wasn't like Biff at all. Because Biff was violent.
Biff was physical. This new Flash Thompson was not.
No, he's just an asshole.
Yeah,
that's all he is. That's the thing. Asshole.
Like,
and I think that it's perfect.
Because when we used to think about like bullies in popular culture, they would be violent, whether or not they'd actually beat the crap out of somebody or just like shove them into a locker or like put their head in the toilet or things like that. Nowadays, modern day bullying is all verbal, like verbally picking on people and like harassing them online and things like that.
And I rewatched the scene where Spider-Man beats up Flash Thompson in the Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah.
And that is a dumb scene. It was cool when I watched it the first time, but now it is dumb. It's like, what was that, early 2000s?
That was like 2002.
It looks like it. It's like almost 90s.
Yeah.
It's bad. So I'm so happy that they didn't do that.
Fun fact about that Flash Thompson, he is currently, he was played in Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies by the man who's going to be playing Deathstroke and the sexiest man on the planet, Joe Manganiello.
Really?
Yes.
He's not the sexiest man on the planet in that.
No, he's not.
Spiky hair and wristbands.
Yeah, because wristbands are not sexy. Let me tell you.
No, you got a gauntlet and an Apple Watch.
Yeah, I am just drowning in my fiance.
Drowning in my fiance is what you just said.
Right.
That's a word that just came out of
Well, because I'm clearly not drowning in women.
I'm drowning in your farts right now.
Well, yeah, I've been gassy a lot. Also, she's right over there off camera, so if I say I'm drowning in women, she's going to give me a really bad look.
Mikachu says, was refreshing to see a superhero movie villain that didn't get powers of day and 10 seconds later masters them.
Oh, get powers in a day.
He kind of did.
Well, no, because it takes place 8 years after the Avengers, where like you see him say like it's time we start changing the way we do things. So it's implied that like over the span of 8 years, there
was 8 years since the New York incident.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is weird because this goes into another tangent, but like that 8 years, because according to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Avengers took place in 2012. 8 years after that is 2020, but this movie allegedly takes place in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, so the timeline's all messed up and stuff.
One thing I didn't like about this movie, and this happens with a lot of Marvel movies and a lot of modern movies, that first scene or the first few scenes, the pacing was crazy fast.
Yeah.
They just fired through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked was they didn't tell you anything about Spider-Man's origin.
Right.
They just assumed
because
that you knew it was happening.
Because you should already know it.
And I am so happy they did that. That was great.
Yeah.
And they touched on it in Civil War.
They did.
So they gave you all that you needed.
And they sort of, like, he has a line in it when Ned finds out that he's Spider-Man, which is not a spoiler, it's in all the trailers, and he says, like, you can't say anything, you know what my Aunt May's been through, like, she couldn't handle this. And, you should know what she's been through.
That's another thing. The trailers ruined some of this movie. The trailers absolutely ruined that ferry scene.
Yeah.
Totally ruined that scene. Because there was a surprise in it that they set up to be like a surprise that you saw in the trailer. So it was like, of course I knew it. Actually, there's two, and you knew they're both with Iron Man.
Yeah.
And you knew that they were both going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was dumb. Scott says the characters were all uncreative and cliche. No. The plot was full of holes. There's way too much focus on Iron Man. I mean, I could go on for days, but point is, it isn't a good movie. I completely disagree. I think the characters were creative and not cliche.
Yeah. I feel like
the bully being an asshole and not a physical bully.
Yeah.
That isn't cliche.
I feel like with Iron Man,
there was too much tech. There was too much Iron Man tech.
That's two different things. Tony Stark, the character, Robert Downey Jr., he's not in it enough, I feel, to be distracting. He's in it just enough to, A, remind people that this takes place in the Marvel Universe that you've known since Iron Man came out. And two, he now serves as a mentor to this version of Spider-Man. Somebody who's, watching her, because Spider-Man's only like 15 years old.
He's kind of passing the torch.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think the next one's going to have a lot of Captain America.
Next Spider-Man movie?
Or I think the next time we see Spider-Man, there's going to be a lot of buddy-buddy with Captain America.
Probably.
I think, yeah. They're going to kind of pass Spider-Man around.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? In terms of, like, the Spider-Man suit being, like, completely, like, technologically advanced, I agree with you. Spider-Man has always been about, like, him putting together the suit himself because he's poor, and a lot of the drama is, like, can he afford web shooters? Can he repair the suit in time? And things like that. So to have, like, a really high-tech suit kind of goes against, like, the everyman aspect of Spider-Man. That being said, I do like some of the things that they do with it. I love the fact that his eyes squint.
Yes.
And he's got the web wings, and they actually function.
The squinting is amazing.
Yeah. That was really good.
I think that a lot of that is set up part of his storyline in Civil War. How he gets the Tony Stark suit, the Iron Spider suit.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, you see some of that in the movie. I don't want to get too into it, but you see some of that, and I think that's good because we lost that in Civil War, and now we're gonna get some of that back, and it is very important to the story.
Noah Macaulay, what I don't get is in Civil War he was totally familiar with his powers, going toe to toe with some Avengers, but now he's not comfortable with his powers. It doesn't make sense, but I love the movie.
No, I think he was very comfortable with his powers.
I think it was the suit.
He wasn't comfortable with the suit at all. Yeah.
Because, that's part of like Peter Parker, thinking he, overstepping his, boundaries. He thought he could handle this high-tech suit, like everything the suit has to throw at it, but he's learning like all these things about it he didn't know.
Right.
Like, we're there.
All right. I mean, we're already in the chat.
Yeah.
This is the part where we talk to the chat. Actually, I have a new segment I'd like to call Tweet of the Week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I found a good tweet, and I want to talk about it. That's it.
Okay.
That's the segment. Tweet of the week right here. Let me pull it up. Got a very complicated setup here. This is by Glenn O'Neill, who is the... What is he? I forgot what he does. Oh, the Yeti. He's co-founder of the Yeti, which is a t-shirt website.
Oh, nice.
Modern Transformer names. Headcanon. Amazon Prime. Subtweet, Vaporwave, Redditor, Rideshare, Geocache, Hashtag, Spambot, and Cosplay.
Those would be Transformers names if they were created nowadays, guaranteed.
Yes.
But what would they transform into? Because even the old Transformers with their dumb names kind of fit with what the car they were transforming into.
So Headcanon would turn into...
like a tank with a cannon on its head.
Or the whole thing looks like a head, but it is a tank.
Right.
Amazon Prime would be a drone.
Oh, yeah.
Subtweet...
Submarine.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Vaporwave would be a boombox.
Yeah.
Redditor would be a laptop or a computer or something.
Yeah. Rideshare would probably...
Just a car,
whatever the most common Uber or Lyft car,
Lincoln Town car, or a Toyota Camry. Geocache would probably be a car, like a truck,
maybe
like a garbage truck, or some sort of like town official truck.
Yeah.
Because I associate geocaching with like parks and stuff.
Right.
Hashtag. That's a tough one.
Like a server farm?
There you go. It's just one big server farm. Spam bot. I have no idea.
That wouldn't transform. That would just be that robot from Transformers Last Night that's just a walking C-3PO knockoff.
This one is, he's a can opener.
Yeah.
Cosplay.
He changes all the time. Like he's a different car every week.
He's like a chameleon.
Speaking of Transformers, at San Diego Comic-Con at the Hasbro booth, there's going to be a $50 limited edition Optimus Prime designed by Paul Rodriguez's Primitive Brand skateboards. Oh, wow. It's pretty much just black and gold.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're not here with us, you can go comment on the last week's Wulff Den Live or whatever you're watching. If you're watching us right now, comment below. If you're watching us live, we're talking to you in the chat anyway. Or you can use the hashtag Wulff Den Live on Twitter, which I don't have. Oh, wait, yes, I do. I have it up. I promise.
Speaking of which, we haven't updated the Wulff Den Live playlist on...
Did it stop? It's supposed to be automatic.
I mean, on the front page, it's just up to 77.
Oh, it's supposed to be automatic. That's dumb. It's supposed to take anything with the title Wulff Den Live
and just automatically put it
in there.
Should look into that.
So that's why I never look at it, because it's just supposed to be friggin' automatic.
All right, but we do have comments from last week, such as Matt Lisco. I think Ghost Recon and For Honor might be so high because for 3 months it was free with the purchase of any NVIDIA graphics card.
That is very
There you go. Oh, wow.
I'm surprised how many people buy NVIDIA graphics cards.
Aren't they supposed to be like one of the top brands, or?
They are. I mean, it is the top brand graphics card.
Yeah.
But you're buying graphics cards often.
Yeah. You know,
they're expensive.
PC gaming, you gotta update.
It's like
your
buying
graphics
a
cards.
new console.
Yeah, every 6 months, but it's cheaper than buying a new console. Did you know that you can build a gaming PC that's more powerful than an Xbox One and a PS4 combined, all for $200?
I feel like I'm being bullied right now.
So as long as you don't put this, and this in it. If you want it to be great, you got to put this in it, and that'll cost you about $5,000, but it's worth it.
People just go for the best one, like the 1080. And now they go for the 1080 Ti, and those are like $1,000.
Yeah.
So like what, $1,000 a year you're gonna dump in this thing, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah. It's like
it's crazy.
Gun collectors. Like
why is it like gun collectors?
Because all right, let's say you buy a gun. You just need the gun. You don't need the laser scope and the sight and the prime stock.
Those are two very expensive hobbies.
Yeah,
is what you're talking about.
Pretty much unnecessarily expensive hobbies.
Okay, fine.
You can get just what you need with like the basic model, but no, can't do that.
I don't think we talked about it last week. Simone Stig tweeted using the hashtag Wulff Den Live. Waffles or pancakes? The correct answer is waffles.
Yes.
You like waffles?
I like
waffles. I have to say, when you're putting stuff on, when you're making fancy things.
Yeah.
For example, a Cinestack at IHOP. Mm-hmm. I'd go for that.
I mean, I had pancakes this morning for breakfast.
You can't really do much fancy stuff with waffles.
Right. The problem with waffles is that not every restaurant has a waffle iron. So most of the time they don't offer waffles.
And they have to be the good type of waffles, though.
Yeah.
Because like there's a very specific mix that is the good stuff.
I'll tell you this, I've had some bad waffles, and there's nothing more disappointing than a bad waffle.
But I very much enjoy Waffle House.
If I wake up at 7:30 tomorrow for breakfast with the parents, then I'm getting good waffles.
Not doing that. Joram Palmer, using the hashtag Wulff Den Live. You guys rock, and so will Mario plus Rabbids. And then he used less than 100 likes on your last live stream. What is wrong with people? I don't know. We don't get a lot of engagement except for when we're actually streaming.
Yeah. From last week, Mohammed Hader. What's the dumbest way you guys have lost money in Vegas so far?
We put $400.
Yes.
We all pooled money together. We put $400 on 4 individual numbers.
Yes.
And that was dumb.
Yes, that was very dumb.
It was like a birthday or something.
Yeah.
And that was very dumb. And then we did it again. So we did it the first night we came here, and then the next night we did it again. But I did the Fortress. If you don't know what the Fortress is, go on YouTube and look up Game Grumps: The Fortress of Solitude, and it is a pivotal thing if you ever want to play roulette. But that is when you bet on one number and you just make a fortress around it, so you bet on all the numbers around it too. And we won, and then we lost.
Yeah.
So we lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
The second time it wasn't $400; it was only like $100.
Yeah, but still.
Personally, I'm even right now. I broke even.
I won 100.
So you're up on.
I'm up 100.
Well, there you go.
So
I went down and then up.
yeah.
So tonight I'm gonna lose everything though.
Yeah.
Simone Stig hashtag Wolf in the Lab. This is the last hashtag. Have you ever played with Nintendo DS? Have you ever played a Nintendo DS with emulators on it? Yes. I think it would be the perfect retro gaming handheld. It is.
Yes.
It is a regular DS, not a 3DS.
Right.
A 3DS is fine too, but a regular DS Lite with an R4 in it
Yes.
is awesome.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, because you could just download the software and it just goes onto the SD card.
Yeah.
It's freaking perfect.
I would actually recommend if you can get a DSi XL because those are larger screen. But otherwise, yeah, along those lines.
DSi. Oh yes. I think the Lite because you can just stick it in your pocket.
That too, yeah. Because the XL has the bigger screen. So
Yeah.
Depending on who you are.
All right, you're still. Using
I'm still in
week.
last week's.
I'm gonna look at the
Instant
chat.
Noodles. I subscribed. Thank you.
We like that.
We always.
I also like instant noodles.
Yeah. Wait, I just saw
Except
one.
I like the Moro-chan ones.
Yeah. Darth Plagueis, Bob and Will, what's your favorite Star Wars ships?
Ships. X-wing.
Yeah, X-wing, Falcon.
Oh, what's Dash Rendar's?
Outright. Yeah, the Outrider.
I like
Where
that.
they're going. I think Poe Dameron's Black X-wing might be my favorite.
Yeah,
I really like the Black X-wing.
that is a good X-wing.
Yeah.
Is his X-wing looks a lot like Luke's X-wing in that one of the last Dark Horse comics.
Yeah, it's really weird because like in the last Dark Horse ongoing Star Wars series, which is just called Star Wars, I did a video on it before Force Awakens came out. There was a Black Ops X-wing squadron, and they all had black X-wings.
Yeah, and they're very similar to Poe
very
Dameron's.
yeah. It's like weird how like I don't think they took inspiration from the Dark Horse series at all, but like it's just very weird how like that was able to work.
And they're great. They look awesome.
Yeah, they look amazing.
My favorite Star Wars ship of all time is the Volvo that you can unlock in Rogue Squadron.
Yes.
Blah blah blah.
CDems126. So did you change your mind about ARMS? I'm on the fence on this game as in whether or not to pick it up.
Have we what?
Have you changed your mind about ARMS?
No, I'm not buying it. I'm over that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Splatoon, which is like very soon. Oh no, the Splatfest or whatever it's called. Did you audibly fart?
I probably did.
What is it? The Splatfest? What are they calling it? Oh, the test fire.
Yeah.
Test fire. That is like Friday, so I'm gonna play that. I'm excited for that. Noah says waffles. That should be a Splatfest theme.
That would be.
It would be waffles or pancakes. The one for the test fire is ice cream or cake.
Ooh.
So obviously it's ice cream.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you're in the mood for cake and you want like real cake,
You can get a good cake.
yeah.
There are good cakes, but 9 times out of 10, ice cream.
Why can't
Don't fight me.
Why can't they just come together and have ice cream cake?
Oh yeah. Or a la mode. Live to Rock. Thoughts on Batman: The White Knight by SGM.
Sean Gordon Murphy.
I want to read that. I really like him.
I was actually going to do a video on that before I wasn't able to finish my script in time. I'm gonna read it because Sean Murphy is like one of those people like I have to read everything he does. I'm tired of the idea that it's Batman's fault for all the problems in Gotham City. That's one of those like, I think I'm smarter than people who read comics, even though I read comics things where like they say like, well, if it wasn't for Batman, then there wouldn't be, all this problem in Gotham City. Really, he's just adding to it. No, like Batman adapts himself to the problems that are in Gotham City. The reason why Gotham has a Batman to begin with is because crime in Gotham is so bad, they needed a Batman in the first place. Chris Sim from Comics Alliance did a really great article explaining that. And there's an episode of Batman the Animated Series where the inmates of Arkham put Batman on trial and say, the only reason why we're like this is because of you. And the district attorney at the time who's defending Batman like comes out and says, no, you people would have been criminals regardless. Your gimmicks may have been different, but you still would have been criminals.
That's the thing.
And then
they wouldn't be super criminals.
Yeah.
They would be
You'd
just
still be
regular
criminals. But then even then, the inmates of Arkham are like, yeah, no, she's right, not guilty.
That's a good point. like they would still be criminals, but they adapt to the heroes. They're
Yeah.
super criminals now because they are superheroes. They would be regular criminals, and they wouldn't be fighting like right now. I mean, they do crime, they kill people.
Yeah.
But they also target the superheroes.
Right.
They would be targeting more civilians.
Right.
If there were no superheroes.
I mean, they kind of talk about that in Batman Begins, where Gordon says, the whole movie, like, it makes it very clear Gotham's a very crime-ridden place. But then Gordon at the end says, well, what about escalation? You come here, you're all about theatrics. What if we get more theatrics? And then Batman's like, I'll take them on.
Viper says, McFarlane gets far too much love. Yes, spaghetti webbing, in quotes, and the eyes are great, but he couldn't draw Peter or the supporting cast. But he draws, like, the best Spider-Man.
Todd McFarlane was one of the best Spider-Man artists. The reason why Todd McFarlane is so well-loved as a Spider-Man artist is because at the time, everybody was still drawing the John Romita template of Spider-Man. He was the first person who came in and said, like, it's the 90s, why are we still drawing this like it's the 60s? So, like, he gave Mary Jane, like, this big hair and stuff.
He made things really complicated.
Yeah, he made things complicated.
His people are weird.
Yeah, his
people
are weird.
Spider-Man is really good.
Yeah.
Who's that guy that people don't like him? Ramos? Does he do, like, the cartoony
Yeah,
Spider-Man?
Humberto Ramos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like his
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
he's really good.
But he also makes weird people.
He does.
But, again, Spider-Man is cartoony.
Yeah.
And that's when he's at his best.
Yeah.
And, again, this movie, very cartoony.
Yes.
You're still in last week's?
Am I still in last week's? I feel like we actually have a lot from last week.
Yeah, pick like 2 more.
Okay. Let's see here. Juan Diaz, love the thumbnail. If you uploaded yourself drawing these on here, I would totally watch them. I think a lot of people aren't on Discord or Twitch like myself.
Get on Twitch. I'm not uploading them here.
All right, last one from last week. Mark Hernandez, who is your guy's favorite movie, comic, or TV dog?
Star Wars.
Dog.
Oh.
Favorite
I
dog
thought dog was like, comma, a dog.
No.
Like he's calling
favorite
us a
dog from movies, TV, comics, etc.
God.
John Wick's dogs.
Yes. Plural.
Plural.
Because of what they mean, but not because they're cool dogs.
Right.
This is very difficult.
This is very difficult because there are a lot of good dogs.
A lot of great doggos.
A lot of good dogs. Good doggies. I like Crypto the Super Dog. I don't care who knows. I think Crypto is awesome idea.
That sucks. That's dumb.
No, you suck. Can
No,
you play Fetch in Space? No, you can't.
No, but I don't need that in my life.
You think that. You think you don't.
I honestly I don't have an answer for that. I can't do it. The first John Wick dog because of what it meant.
Right.
But other than that, I don't think that dog was particularly great. It kind of just served. It had like a meaning.
Right.
All right, now we're in the chat. We're gonna pick like 2 more or something.
Yeah.
Noah, what do you think are the best Spider-Man actors ranked? Tom Holland,
Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield.
and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get into cartoons, I like Josh Keaton from Spectacular Spider-Man, Christopher Daniel Barnes from the 90s cartoon. He talked a lot, was very overdramatic, but I think he was really good.
If I'm ranking them with
Yeah.
cartoons, I would say Tom Holland first, the guy from the 90s cartoon
Christopher Daniel
second.
Barnes.
Yeah.
And then Neil Patrick Harris was a really good Spider-Man on the MTV. Spider-Man
yeah,
cartoon.
he was good. Yeah.
One of these days, I'm going to tell people that they're wrong about their opinion on the MTV Spider-Man cartoon, because that was a really good cartoon.
Which one was the guy from Drake and Josh? It.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think he did a fine job.
He was okay. Wulff Den, any thoughts on Gwenpool? I'm a huge fan of Howard the Duck. He is ridiculous, but the idea of him is incredible. He has some good ongoings as well. Howard the Duck is really good, especially if you want to read modern stuff. Chip Zdarsky has a really funny Howard the Duck comic out right now. Gwenpool, I don't get at all.
I think she looks awesome.
Like,
and that's really all that matters.
I get Spider-Gwen to an extent. I don't get...
Oh, Gwenpool.
Gwenpool.
I was thinking Spider-Gwen. I was still in Spider-Man mode.
Right.
Spider-Gwen looks awesome. Gwenpool is dumb.
Yeah, like,
The reason it's dumb is because it's not Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And you think that it is. It makes a lot of sense.
And like Gwen Stacy has nothing to do with Deadpool. Like she wasn't even a character. Deadpool wasn't even a character when Gwen Stacy was around, and Gwen Stacy had been dead for years before Deadpool came along. The two have no relationship to each other. So like, don't Gwen Stacy everybody.
Yeah, don't Gwen Stacy everybody. Spider Gwen is. I like that idea.
Yeah, that's I get that idea. Like that makes sense.
Yeah, but
Gwenpool does not make sense.
Is weird.
Yeah. Mikachu, I think the old Japanese Spider-Man is better than Andrew Garfield.
Very good point. That is not canon or official or anything.
It is.
It's official.
The Japanese Spider-Man appears in Spider-Verse.
Okay,
Complete with the
but it wasn't sanctioned by Marvel at all, right? When it came out,
it was.
Oh my god, I don't know anything.
It was, and
never listened to me.
Not only was it in Spider-Verse, but that show actually led to Super Sentai, which became Power Rangers.
Pizza Dog is my favorite dog.
There you go.
Pizza Dog
from Hawkeye.
From Hawkeye.
From Matt Fraction, David Aja's Hawkeye.
Let's end with that.
Okay.
Unless you have another one.
No, I'm good.
Okay, guys, thank you for being here.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, guys, we are the Wulff Den. We are here live every Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. We only know that because we're in Pacific time right now. YouTube.com/WulffDen. If you can't make the live show, we always put it up on Thursday in an archive version. Or if you prefer to listen to us, check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play in podcast form. And if you're there, make sure to subscribe to us there and rate us and review us because that helps us with placement on those respective stores.
Most of the time, I go on twitch.tv/BobWolf, spelled correctly. And if you spell it wrong, you don't deserve to be there. I draw the thumbnail for Wulff Den Live.
Mm-hmm.
And I always do it about a half an hour, maybe an hour after the stream. Tonight, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know. I still don't know. So subscribe to me. Follow me there and put a notification up in case I go live, or just follow me on Twitter. So I don't know if I'm going to do it. Also, I do commissions because I'm an illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
I did one for Fred, who's in the chat. It's on my Instagram. Look at that. And I'll maybe see you later. I don't know. That's all I got. You already did the whole spiel.
I did the whole spiel.
So thank you guys for being here. Now, I don't have a goodbye screen, so we just have to kind of wave for like a while. And then I stop, and then it'll just stop itself.
Okay.
You're not waiting.
So, okay, bye.
And we're stopping, and good.